Hi, I'm Jessica Citizen from Player Attack. We are in a secret room at the back of the Ubisoft booth at E3 2012. I'm here with Dan Hay, producer of Far Cry 3, which has been taking the show by storm, picked up a whole bunch of Best in Show awards, and rightly so, because it looks amazing. But for people who haven't caught up with what's new,
Sure.
What's new with Far Cry 3?
Well, I think that people, if you haven't caught up with it, you saw it last year, you met Jason, a regular guy, and he met Voss, definitely a different brand of insanity. Voss picked him up, threw him down a cenote, and left him to die. This year, Jason is different. This year, we're seeing Jason as he's learning the way of the warrior from Voss's sister, Citra. And if you look at him, he's covered in tattoos, he's understanding all this different stuff that Citra's taught him. He's a warrior, he has the ability to do stealth kills, he has the ability to use the bow. He's a different guy. He's changed, he's grown up a little, and now he is hell-bent on going after Voss.
Well, aren't we all really? He's a special guy.
He is special, that is the word.
So Far Cry 3 is not really pulling any punches. I mean, there seems to be, there's magic beans. We've seen the magic beans.
Yeah, there's, we have hallucinations. The goal for us was to keep it credible. If you or I were to go over to these islands, we'd have an experience where we'd probably eat some things we weren't supposed to, we'd probably ingest some things we weren't supposed to, we'd meet some people that are crazy, and we'd have to struggle to survive, and that is Jason's story.
And so struggling to survive with all sorts of mature content that is going to bump you up a few notches in the rating stakes.
Definitely some mature content. There's no question. But for us, it was about this feeling of emotion that we want Jason to have. He goes over to the island. He meets Citra. Right? She's exotic. She's beautiful. He begins to fall for her. But he's still got this pull of his old life. And the question about player choice is not only from gameplay to the meta. Is what are you going to do? Are you going to be the Jason of old, or are you going to allow yourself to sort of succumb to the island?
And so depending on the choices that the player makes, does that then change the way that the game plays out?
The way it works is that we wanted to set it out so that you would have a series of action bubbles across the islands, across the entire archipelago. And that you could go to work the next day or go to school the next day and talk to your buddies and realize that you hadn't gotten the same tattoos, that you'd had a different type of story. And you're like, okay, well, how did you get that? Or I picked up the bow. Did you get the bow? No, I never got the bow. How did you get it? So whether it's you're hunting or whether or not you're exploring or you're discovering different places, you're down in cenotes and caves, or you're off in a boat and you're going down and you're trying to find shipwrecks that are down there, it's a completely different experience for you, and it's pretty much how you play.
This is pretty cool. I mean, in a world where all of these decisions won't actually have that much effect on the outcome, that's a pretty impressive way of just having actual visual proof that this is what I've done. Look at it.
We wanted to make sure that from the standpoint of even gameplay, the player's idea of the 360-degree approach, when you pick up a weapon in Far Cry, you may be a sniper. You may be somebody who goes in like Rambo style and run and gun. And the idea is to have adaptive AI and to have environments that make you feel like you can choose how to play. So if you're a sniper and you want to hold back and you want to just pick guys off one at a time, there's going to be dogs that are going to come out. They're going to sniff you out. There's going to be maybe a Molotov cocktail gets thrown into the bush, and all of a sudden the entire jungle that you're in is on fire and you got to run for your life. The goal is to provide player choice and then have AI that is smart enough to basically push you as hard as it can.
So is this a sort of game that simply couldn't have been made a few years ago before any of these AI developments?
For us, we are definitely pushing it. You think about all the lushness that we have on screen. You think about the number of different AI. You talk about the weapons, how big the world is, and the fact that we're offering you a 20-hour single-player campaign, plus you get to go out and do whatever you want to do in the open world. To that, we're adding an entire co-op campaign with 4 additional players, completely different storyline, and 6 hours of co-op. And then after that, you've got PvP, where you've got Citra and Voss having a blood feud on another island, and you can play PvP for as long as you like. And then at the very end of that, if you want to use our in-game editor, you can effectively build your own island and become your own boss. It's a lot of stuff. It's a monster game.
It sounds incredible, and it looks incredible. The whole thing just looks so green and so lush. And I remember last year when it was first announced, first shot on screen, just go, that's a new Far Cry.
Yeah, I think, the thing that Ubi really prides itself on is it prides itself on creativity. It prides itself on the idea of it being beautiful, and the games are stunning. And so it creates an environment where you have artists and you have creative types who can really put as much as is possible on screen. And right now, having you say that it's beautiful, the art team back in Montreal is freaking out going, yes, we did it.
In a world at the moment where all of these trilogies are all coming out and they're all third part of things or second or fourth or whatever, if someone has never played a Far Cry game before, is completely unfamiliar with all of it, is this one that they can pick up, jump right in, and know what they're doing?
I definitely think so, and the reason is that we picked a character that's normal, right? From the standpoint of Jason, he comes to the island with a very Western set of ideals. His belief in right and wrong, his belief in everything that he knows, and that he can handle himself. And I think that that's true of all of us. If we were to go to that island, we'd probably come in with some preconceived notions. We'd probably come in with the belief that, we can handle ourselves in any situation. And the key is, for us, is we talked about Jason calling his mom. So he gets his mom on the phone. He says, "Hey, Mom, I'm going to this island. It's really cool." And Mom says, "Be careful. Be careful out there." "Oh, Mom, I got it covered, right? I can handle anything." But if he were to survive this, and he were to call his mom back at the end of the game, she wouldn't recognize his voice. That was our goal. And that's something with the emotion that we put into the game that I think that everybody's going to be able to relate to. The idea of there's two women in Jason's life. He's not sure whether or not he should stay. He's got the island that's pulling him. He's in there making his first kills, and he's not great at it. And then as he gets better and better, the question is, does he start to like it? You look at the different characters that we have on the islands. You have Voss, you have Citra, you have the Doc, you have many other characters that we haven't revealed yet. And you look at the different brands of insanity, and the question is, if you stay there long enough, who are you going to become?
It's heavy stuff. I'm not even sure how to respond to that to completely convey the fact that it's like, right, well, where do I go from there? Where do you go from there?
I don't know. I mean, when you play the game and you're on the island and you're running around and you're having fun and you're, whether or not you're hunting or whether or not you're exploring or whether or not you're discovering something that's in a cave, it's about how you want to play. So what's been great for us to see is the response here at E3 of everybody playing the game and meeting Citra. And I think the one thing that sort of stands out, if there is one thing, I mean, there's the bow, there's the knife, there's Voss, but what we're really enjoying seeing people do is that they're playing with the animals, and they're basically, if you're in Voss's compound and you can shoot the tiger cage and you can pull the tigers out, fighting beside the tigers and actually having them take out guys while you're shooting at the same time is just fantastic to watch.
But they are tigers, they are wild animals. There is no guaranteeing that they're going to be on your side.
No. And the thing is that our demo is systemic. So if you're watching at E3 and you saw Jamie's face as he was playing it, we don't know what's going to happen, right? Maybe the tiger's going to turn on him. Maybe it's going to catch on fire. We have no idea. So we're freaking out ourselves.
Sounds like great fun. How much longer are we going to have to wait before we can get our hands on this one?
It's coming out in September, and it's coming out on the PC, the 360, and the PS3.
Fabulous. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.